Do you find it hard to let people in? Do you find it hard to ask for help? Do you find it hard to be vulnerable? Do you find it hard to trust? A lot of the times when we go through grief or pain, or we have to walk away from certain people, or people have walked away from us, this can damage our heart to the extent that we're afraid. We're afraid to let love in again. We're afraid to let anyone in again. But this can be detrimental. This can actually lead our heart to turn to stone. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach and I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse. I've spoken on my heart a lot of the times because my biggest block is my heart. And a lot of us have that heart block. Why? Because we've been hurt. Because we've only known trauma. This stems from our childhood trauma, but also from past relationships, toxic relationships, narcissistic relationships. But also on this healing journey, when we're transforming, when we're awakening, we often have to leave behind family and friends. And this can really, really break your heart. For me personally, and I've spoken on this, my heart has always been wide open. Since I was a child, we're born with unconditional love in our hearts. This is how we're born. We've only known unconditional love. But because of our trauma, because of society, because of conditioning, because of our upbringing, because of toxic relationships, we end up closing. We end up feeling that love is conditional, feeling that we're unworthy of it, feeling that everyone abandons us, that we're just constantly being rejected. And when this happens, it can be very, very difficult to let people in again. But this can be detrimental. And I only discovered this myself. I've been speaking on my heart lately. I've been doing a lot of introspection. This is why self-awareness is so important. If you're triggered, if you're emotional for some reason, there's something deeper. And I discovered that I had a one-way system in my heart, that I could give love, but I couldn't receive it. And I didn't even realize by saying that out loud, it actually made it real. But I only discovered the other day that actually my heart was in the process of turning to stone. And the analogy I was getting was, when Medusa turns somebody to stone, it's gradual. It develops, it spreads. So it's not just instant turn to stone. It's like it spreads over the whole body. And I was just thinking to myself, if I have a trap door at this side, that stone wall at this side, but it's open to give love. But because of my pain, that stone was starting to spread across the open side of my heart as well. And that's fucking scary. For me personally, I didn't think that was possible, for my heart to turn to stone. And I know this is a weird analogy, but it's the way I felt when I've discovered this. And this is the thing. I have support systems in my life. I've had to walk away from a lot of family and a lot of friends in my physical reality. And I have friends that I correspond with online and, they're there for me, but I've always been more there for them. If they ask me how I am, I'm fine. And I am fine. Well, not fine, I'm good. Fine is not the right word. But a lot of the time I just won't open up. And every week is a healing week for me. So every day I cry, every day I purge, every day I'm healing. And I'm not crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because I'm releasing trapped emotion. I'm releasing past trauma. So every day is just a healing day for me. And I was on a video call with my friend the other day and it was the first time I actually opened up. She asked me how my week was and I literally ended up just pouring myself out and I actually cried and everything. And I was just like, okay, I have stuff that I need to work on. So I went away and I worked on that evening and it opened up this just massive amounts of feelings around loneliness. And I came to the conclusion a few weeks ago that I was afraid to be loved. And in this sense, I was actually afraid to let anything into my life. And this was blocking my abundance as well. When we have a closed heart, we're not just blocking romantic love, we're blocking friendship. We're blocking abundance, we're blocking opportunities. And because on my journey, I've had to walk away from a big group of friends that were like my family because one of them was narcissistic. I had to walk away from my friend of 22 years because of just an imbalance. I had to walk away from my dad and my brother, my whole family, effectively, because it was taking away from my soul. It was taking away from my life force energy. It was depleting me. So I had to walk away from so many people. And this triggered my abandonment wound, which is my biggest wound because my mother left when I was a toddler. And even though we leave situations, we will still trigger the abandonment wound. So for the last for the last 2 years almost, I have been, intensely healing my heart and healing my inner child. But it was getting to the stage where I just did not want to let anyone into my life again. And this even came to simple things of opportunities. Like, I was afraid to get excited. I'm literally 3 days away from publishing my first book, and I'm like, is this even real? Am I allowed to get excited? If I get excited, will it not just be pulled from underneath me? This is the energy that I'm in. It's like, if I allow somebody in again, if I allow anything in again, is it not just going to break my heart? And I've been trying to drum this into myself over and over again. It is better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. And that's a fact. It's better to share life with people than to be afraid. And that's the thing. I think it is because I walked away from so many people. It feels like that it's just this constant pain. And it's like, will it not be easier for me not to let people in? Would it not be easier for me to just stay closed off? And I was okay with that because I was still able to give love. And that's fine. Once my heart is open, once I can give love to people, I was like, fuck it, I'll be fine. I'm grand. I don't need it. But, I was like, that's fine. But because of the conversation I had with my friend the other day, and I sat with it, because I'm in this detached energy at the minute, and that's because we're shifting timelines. But I've come to realize that it was because my heart was turning to stone. Because, I was like looking forward to Christmas, but I wasn't. I was just in this energy of, what's the fucking point? You know what I mean? Last year was hard because it was my first one on my own. And, one of my dogs died this year as well, so she won't be with me this year. And I was excited. I bought presents for my dogs. I bought presents for myself. I made a lovely dinner. I was really excited last year, even though it was the hardest year ever because it was my first one. And this year, I'm stronger. And I am excited. But after the conversation with my friend the other day, I was just like, am I though? What's the point? Christmas is about, family, about love. And it's just and I have my family, my fur babies, and I have that love, and I have friends, that I speak with. But I was just like, that's why I wasn't feeling, I was like, I wasn't feeling the giving and receiving energy. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. Because even if I used to be Scrooge, I used to actually hate Christmas, and I loved it, and then I hated it, and then I loved it, and then I hated it. I was literally up and down. 1 year I was Scrooge, next year I'm happy, next year, Scrooge. And it just happened like that. But lately I love Christmas. I do love Christmas. But I was just feeling so blocked. And it was that conversation that made me realize, oh my God, I'm not getting excited, not just because of this timeline shift, but because it's because it felt like that stone was spreading across my heart. And just opening up to my friend was such a massive weight lifted. It's like the stone started to crumble. And it was just like, oh my God, this is what's been wrong with me. I've been unconsciously blocking anything from entering my life because I'm afraid to get hurt again. But this was slowly making me turn into Scrooge. And I just didn't believe that it was possible for me to block the love going out. Because I was like, my heart will always be open to give love. But that's the analogy I'm getting, is that stone was spreading. You know what I mean? And if I didn't do something, immediately, it was going to turn to complete stone. And I didn't obviously know this until I actually opened up my heart. And that was the thing. I haven't been the person to ask for help. I have been afraid to trust people. I've been afraid to let my emotions out. Like, don't get me wrong, I talk to myself every day. I introspect every day. I cry to myself every day. I'm my self-therapist. So it's not like I'm keeping this stuff in me, but there's something special to be found in the fact that you can actually speak to another person and cry and not feel bad, and they can give you back the advice that you need, and you can actually just, it's like, you know, and even though it was on screen, it was like getting a hug, because it was just like, that's all I fucking needed really, was to vent and get a hug. And like, it was like a virtual hug, the way that she held space for me. And it was just like, that's all I fucking need. All I need is to literally speak, to trust, you know? Sorry about that. You know, and that's all I needed to do, was literally open my heart to another person, to literally be vulnerable. And that's scary. But after the introspection I did after having that conversation, it was even scarier. Just to think that my heart could have turned to complete stone really scares the shit out of me. You know, it really does. Like, because I've always been such a giver. You know, and like, it's, you know, this is not about me even receiving anymore. Like, if it got to the stage where I couldn't give, that's not somewhere I want to be. And like, sorry, I did not expect this to happen, but like, literally, that's scary. That's scarier than being vulnerable. It really is. And like, you know, I got Scrooge in my head this morning. Like, you know, how does somebody's heart turn to stone? But grief can do that. Trauma can do that. Pain can do that. You know, and I've been okay on my own. And I've been able to give myself love. But what if my heart did turn to stone and I couldn't even do that? That's fucking scary. That's scarier than being vulnerable. That's scarier than letting people in. So this is why I'm doing this video. It's so important to allow people into your life again after so long of being on your own. It's so important to have people to support you. You know, and we go through this awakening journey and we're isolated. We're gone into hermit mode. We've lost a lot of people. And, you know, it is hard for us to open again. It's hard for us to let people in. It's hard for us to trust. We just feel our inner child is so wounded, it feels like everyone is going to leave. But that's scary. And then we're scared to be vulnerable. But nothing will ever scare me as much as I felt the other day when I realised my heart was on the verge of going into complete stone. That's fucked up. No matter what trauma I've been through my whole life, I always had an open heart. And because of the experiences that I've experienced through my awakening journey, it was getting to the stage where it was going to close completely. Wow, that really is fucking me up right now. But that's the thing. And now I'm just like, that feeling was more scary than trusting. That feeling was more scary than letting somebody in. You know, and I speak on my videos, you know, and I know that's vulnerability, you know, and I speak my truth in my videos, but I do that because I know I'm helping somebody. I know I might be helping you. So I can do that. To me, like, people say to me, oh, Jesus, that's very brave. I'm like, what? I'm grand. It's sure, like, I'm just helping somebody. So, you know, I get over my own trauma because I'm able to share this message and help the next person. You know, but to actually be vulnerable with another person is scarier. I know that sounds so weird. Like, I'm on screen here showing the world my vulnerability. But yet I fear being vulnerable in front of one other person or two other people, or letting somebody, because you see, like, you know, in a way, I'm speaking to this world and I'm sharing my message, and I don't, you know, there's no way of me feeling, you're not going to leave me or whatever. It's weird. It's a weird concept. But like me, I'm afraid to speak my vulnerability or my emotions to another human being one-on-one because I'm afraid I'll feel rejected. I'm afraid I'll feel abandoned. But that's not it. People want to help you. And that's the thing. Somebody said that to me last year. It's like, people love helping. And I'm like, what? I like helping, but people don't like helping, do they? Because that's only because I was closed off and I wasn't letting people help me. You know, that's why it shocked me. It wasn't because people don't help. It's because I don't let people help me. So that's the thing. Like, you know, now I'm looking forward to Christmas again. My heart feels more open. And like, to be honest with you, I'm just going to bloody fucking be as vulnerable as I can be, because I swear to God, if I ever get to the stage again where my heart starts turning to stone again, no. That was the most scariest realization I've ever fucking had. It was absolutely so scary to think that was possible for me, that my heart could completely turn to stone and that I wouldn't be able to give again. And like, you know, obviously I want to receive love. I want that camaraderie. I want friendship. I love sharing happy with people. I love it. I love having people in my life. But because of what I've been through, it's been so hard for me to open up again. And now I'm just realising that vulnerability is less fucking scary than having a stone heart. It is less scary. And I don't care now. I'm like, come, everybody. I'm going to let everyone in. Fucking hell. Because at the end of the day, like, I don't want to be alone anymore. And that's what I realised after that conversation as well, is that I was lonely, that I am lonely, and that I want people in my life. You know, I want friendship. I want a family. I want companionship. You know, I love that to be, you know, and I want to be able to open up to the people that are already in my life. I want our friendships to grow stronger, because I want it to be two-way. I want to be able to open up. I want to be vulnerable now, because I do not want my heart to turn to stone. So it is better to let people in. It really is, because the detachment I was feeling was because my heart was actually seizing up, in a sense. That's what it was. You know, and I know I'm jumping into my Ty's timeline, so I know I've been going through these symptoms anyway. But I literally, from one conversation and from a little bit of self-awareness and introspection, I realised that my heart was about to go completely. That's scarier than being vulnerable and letting people in. I'd rather be hurt over and over again than to think that I could not love, that I could not give love. That's the scariest part. You know, I've always been the one that hasn't been able to receive. And like, obviously I want to change that. But if I got to a stage where I couldn't give love, what would be the point in being alive? That would be my opinion. And if I'd have let it go any further, I don't know what would have happened. It's fucking scary to think about it. So now I'm happy to be vulnerable. I'm going to open up. I'm going to speak my truth. I'm going to ask friends for help. When I'm feeling down, I'm going to vent. I'm going to tell people my shit. I know I'm telling it. I know this sounds so weird that I can do this on video, but I can't open up to people. It's so fucking weird. So now in future, that's my intention. I'm getting rid of that fucking stone wall. I fucking don't care anymore. I'm not turning into Scrooge again. No way. I am going to give love and I'm going to fucking receive it. Yes, I am. So this is the reason I am sharing this video, is that it's actually all too possible for your heart to turn to stone. So don't be afraid to let people in again. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Because vulnerability does take fucking strength. I fucking realise that now. And I know I keep saying that. And you know, and I know I've always thought of myself as capable of vulnerability, which is obviously how I express myself in these videos. But there's a difference, like, I don't know how, it's a bit weird, but there's a difference. And to actually be able to have a safe space with a friend, you know, to speak. And it's like, it's not like I didn't have people to speak to. It's that I just didn't speak. And that was, you know, that was putting barriers, you know, energetic barriers on my friendships. And I don't want that. I just want it all to be full of fucking love. So this is it. It is actually so much better to open your heart and be vulnerable than it is to effectively, potentially, turn to fucking stone. This is something I cannot let happen. And you know, even though I've been actively healing my heart, I was still slowly turning to fucking stone because I wasn't letting people in. And this is my new intention for my new timeline, is that I'm just going to let people in. I'm ready to let people in. I'm ready to open my heart to give and receive. And that's so important. So let those walls down. Let the people in. There's people there that love you and they want to help. All you have to do is keep your heart open. So I really hope this video helped. If it did resonate, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you would like help on your journey, please book me for a discovery call today, and I would love nothing more than to help you on your path.